What's up, guys? I am the Mad Hatter, and this is my MMA channel. Now, we just did our bantamweight list. This is our featherweight list for our top 10 featherweight competitors of all time. This list is a little interesting just because featherweight has not had that many champions. So this list has a lot of different things you can do to it. There's a lot of different people you can throw into this list. There's pioneers. There's people that have fought in other promotions. There's a lot of really entertaining people on this list and some people that people really sleep on. This list is very, very good in my opinion just because I've included a lot of people don't really know about that much, but I think they're up there as top 10 in the world. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, like, comment. If you have anything you want to say about this list or you want to share your own list or cause some discussion in the comments, I will answer every comment as usual. And this is our list for top 10 featherweights of all time. Number 10, we have Pat Curran. A lot of people don't know about Pat Curran. Pat and his cousin Jeff are pioneers of these smaller divisions. Pioneers of featherweight and bantamweight. Well, Jeff more bantamweight, but pioneers of featherweight, Pat Curran and Jeff Curran go hand in hand with that. They fought in the WEC back when Uriah Faber, back when guys like Miguel Torres, back when people like, Dominic Cruz, people like that were fighting in the WEC before the UFC absorbed it. And Pat was a very long time Bellator fighter, and he is just amazing and has been his whole career. He is a two-time featherweight champion for Bellator, and he defended that title a few times. He's beaten the who's who and anybody that has not fought in the UFC, that a lot of them should have, but anybody that hasn't fought in the UFC that was high level, Pat Curran's beat him. Obviously, Jeff was one of my first coaches, so maybe there's a little bit of bias here, but Pat was something to behold and a very, very great fighter. His striking was incredible. His grappling, their jiu-jitsu is just next level. Very knowledgeable guys. And Pat is deserving of this top 10 list. He's a pioneer of the division, and those guys helped make the divisions what they are today. He beat Patricio Pitbull, who is, again, that was Bellator's guy for years. Joe Warren, that fight should have been stopped so much earlier than it was. But what a vicious beating did Pat Curran put on Joe Warren. Marlon Sandro, he head kicked him into oblivion. And a guy that was pretty publicized with the UFC at one point, Roger Huerta. He beat Huerta pretty soundly as well. Pat Curran is a great fighter and deserves to be on this list for the amount of titles he's won in Bellator, for the entertainment he's given us over the years. His record's amazing, and he is an absolute pioneer of the sport. Next, we have Patricio Pitbull. Same thing, Bellator guy, but very, very good and fought a lot of these really high-level guys and beat them. Pitbull was just, he's incredible. His striking is so dangerous. He's a dangerous guy, and he was a champion in Bellator for a long time, and he's fought some guys that made it to the UFC and beat them. And I think, obviously, him and Patrici aren't done. I think this could definitely be a landing zone for them in the future. They could definitely end up in the UFC because Bellator was just absorbed and was discontinued. So his notable wins include AJ McKee, Michael Chandler, which obviously Chandler's in the UFC, and he's lit up the world a few times, but he's taken some losses in the UFC as of recent. Daniel Strauss and Pat Curran. He has beaten a lot of very high-level guys. Next, we have, at number 8, we have Ilia Toria. The reason Topuria is on this list is simply who he's beat, and he's one of the only guys at featherweight that came up undefeated and remains that way. Nobody's beaten this guy. He's got high-level jiu-jitsu, and his boxing is looking terrifying. He beat Bryce Mitchell. He beat Josh Emmett. Bryce Mitchell's feared on the ground. Josh Emmett's feared in the striking. He beat Max Holloway. That was a sad fight for me to watch, being a huge Holloway fan, but he beat him. And he also beat Volk. He's one of the only guys to knock out Volk like that. And a lot of people say, was there not enough time between the Islam knockout and fighting Ilia? It's a possibility. But Ilia did knock him out, and Volk's a very high-level guy, obviously. And Ilia, he talks a lot of trash. A lot of people don't like him. There's so many McGregor comparisons in there, it's not even funny. But he's number 8 in the world. He was number 8 of all time, I would say, at featherweight. It's not, obviously there hasn't been many champions in that division, but Ilia's up there. Next, number 7, a fan favorite that never won the title, but has had many chances and just innovative in so many ways. Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie. He is on this list due to the people he's beat, due to his innovative jiu-jitsu, his innovative striking, and so many other things. He has one of the only, I believe he had the first twister finish in UFC history, which obviously Bryce Mitchell loves that submission now, but he had one of very few twisters in the UFC. He had one of the fastest knockouts in the UFC, just an entertaining guy all around. And listen to some of these names that he's beat. Zombie has beaten so many guys, and he's a fan favorite. He's beloved. Dustin Poirier. You know what kind of star Dustin is nowadays. Renato Moicano just fought for the title. Dan Ige, Frankie Edgar, former champion Frankie Edgar. He beat so many great guys. Chan Sung Jung is legit. Chan Sung Jung is a fan favorite and deserves to be on this list. Another little bit less known guy, but he's on here for what he's done for this division. He's a pioneer of this division, and he fought everybody. At the time, anyway. He fought everybody that was good back then. Hatsu Hioki. Hatsu Hioki fought at featherweight from, I believe it was 2002 to 2004 area when he started. But he moved up quick, and he always put on good fights, and he always fought a lot of high-level guys. Apologies if I butcher this name, but I should know because he was a Team Curran guy. He fought Bart Palazewski and beat him. He beat Marlon Sandro. He beat Jeff Curran. He beat Mark Hominick, who also was supposed to be the next big thing in the UFC at one point. He beat so many good fighters and fought just about everybody, has a great record, and he fought so many times. But it's the early infancy of the featherweight division that Hatsu should be appreciated for, because he was a huge part of that. He's a pioneer. Uriah Faber is our number 5. Obviously, he was also our number 5 on our last list, but he was good in the bantamweight division and the featherweight division. We've already talked a lot about Uriah Faber, the California kid. These divisions possibly wouldn't exist without him. And very important fighter in history of mixed martial arts, always brings it, always has good fights. Notable victories include my former coach, Jeff Curran, Dominic Cruz, Jens Pulver, and Eddie Wineland. He's just beaten so many guys. The list goes on. Great combination of wrestling, great combination of striking, amazing fighter. Our number 4 featherweight, Alexander Volkanovski. Now, Volkanovski, a lot of people are going to ask me why he's not higher on this list. I wouldn't say he should be, because the 3 guys that are next, I would say just overtake him. Volk made a name for himself. Volk's a star. Everybody loves Alexander Volkanovski. I've never met anybody that's a Volkanovski hater in my life. It'd be kind of incredible if I did find somebody that was. And if they do, they're just not appreciating the guy. Great fighter, amazing entertainment value. He's funny as hell if you watch interviews with him. And most importantly, his wins in the octagon just show grit, heart, determination, decent striking. He's not a tall guy. He's a shorter guy for featherweight and has great striking and gets through a lot of these guys and pressures them. He's got good wrestling too. And the way Volkanovski is heart. The way that he escaped that choke that Ortega had him in, 90% plus of fighters are tapping to that. Definitely earned my respect. He beat Max Holloway. I think it was 3 times beat Max Holloway, which nobody's beat Max that many times. Even if it was 2 times, I'm not sure if it was 2 or 3, but he beat so many good guys. He took the title off Max, who nobody thought was getting beat. And he just stopped everybody. He beat the Korean Zombie. Bit of a sad fight to watch because it was late in Zombie's career. He beat Jose Aldo, which Aldo's just amazing as well. His striking's incredible. And Brian Ortega, who has some very slick jiu-jitsu, Volkanovski is incredible. Next, at number 3, we have Conor McGregor. Conor is above Volkanovski because of what he did for these divisions. He was the first double champion in UFC history. Obviously, the trash talk, the entertainment value, probably the biggest star in UFC history. Conor McGregor is for real. He was a dangerous striker. His come-up was different. Nobody had the buzz or the come-up that Conor had. Nobody had the trash talk that Conor had. Nobody could throw you off your game with his words the way Conor could, other than maybe Chael. And Chael's obviously in way higher divisions. Conor's notable wins include Eddie Alvarez, obviously beat him for the lightweight title. Nate Diaz, Jose Aldo, which, again, nobody thought Aldo was getting beat, but he got knocked out in 13 seconds with one punch. Chad Mendes and Dustin Poirier. Poirier beat him a few times now, and that win over Poirier was dominant. He beat Max Holloway, basically, believe it or not, by out wrestling him and hitting him with the ground and pound. The list goes on and on for people that Conor's beat, and he said he was going to put one title over one shoulder and one over the other shoulder. He went out there and did it. Everything he says he's going to do, he pretty much did it, and he doesn't need to fight anymore. I don't believe he's going to ever come back, and he doesn't need to continue in the sport because he's already done so much for the sport, and he's a big reason why the UFC is as popular as it is nowadays. So a lot of people should be thanking Conor McGregor. And every single fight he had, every single rivalry he had, so entertaining. The most pay-per-view buys in history. How could you not love what Conor has done, even if you don't love him as a person? Max Holloway is our number 2. Max Holloway is incredible. His striking's great. He's got decent jiu-jitsu. You know, he came up as mainly a jiu-jitsu guy with no striking coach, and then just became one of the best strikers ever, best boxer in the UFC. That's his words, and in my opinion, he is. He literally taught Ortega how to block a punch during a fight. Enough said. Like, the amount of people that he's beaten, the things he's done as a fighter are incredible. One of the best featherweights of all time, if not the best. He beat Jose Aldo multiple times. He beat Frankie Edgar. He just knocked out Justin Gaethje, become the BMF champion at the buzzer. He beat Anthony Showtime Pettis. He put on a dominant performance against Calvin Kattar. One of the best performances in UFC history. Definitely check that one out. Great boxing performance as well. He dominated Calvin Kattar while talking to the commentators while smashing this man who's a very high-level guy himself. Max Holloway is a great guy, a great fighter. I hear a great teammate, and I hear nothing but wonderful things about him, along with his wonderful fighting ability. And our number 1, last but not least, the greatest featherweight of all time, we have Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo was champion forever. He beat everybody. He was champion forever. He will always have the respect of casual fans, along with fans that are veterans, fans that have fought for a long time, fans that know what they're doing and have trained. Jose Aldo is absolutely incredible. He's dangerous from anywhere, from his back, from anywhere grappling, from anywhere striking. He can hit you with anything, anywhere striking. His leg kicks are the scariest leg kicks I've ever seen in my life. Him and Pereira's leg kicks are probably the top 2 scariest leg kicks I've ever seen in MMA. Jose Aldo is a legend. Jose Aldo is incredible in multiple divisions and the greatest featherweight of all time. Notable wins include Kenny Florian, Uriah Faber, Frankie Edgar, Jeremy Stevens, Chad Mendes, Marlon Chito Vera. The list goes on. Jose Aldo is incredible. Jose Aldo is deserving of number 1 and is the best featherweight of all time. Our next lists are going to be our lightweight lists and our welterweight lists, probably as in a double upload format as well, just like these ones were. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. If you haven't yet, obviously click the subscribe and the bell. This channel is hopefully is going to do nothing but grow. We're going to be uploading a lot more, and we're going to be uploading pretty consistently, either once a week or, every other day or something like that. I haven't got the schedule down yet, but it will be happening a lot more frequently. So definitely subscribe and hit the bell to get notified about my videos. And if you enjoy my videos, thank you so much for watching. If you don't, also thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, feel free to comment, and start some conversation with me. I'd love to talk about these lists. I'd love to talk about future videos if anybody has ideas or anything like that. And hopefully we see this channel grow. And hopefully this is something that you guys really like. And I appreciate every single viewer of these videos. So thank you so much for watching. Obviously, we have a lot of big ideas for this channel. And that's all I have to say. Mad Hatter out.